What's up, guys? Welcome to another Work Wednesdays. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. So today, I actually called a buyer. We've had issues with this one property, and it seems like all the buyers in this particular area. So it's the first time we've done a deal in this particular state and in this city specifically. But we've had a ton of issues. So my disposition manager, had the deal sold to someone, and they kind of ghosted us after a while. She had a couple of other interested people, always making excuses of different things. It just seems like all the buyers there are flaky for some reason. I'm not sure why. So anyways, I finally found a buyer just off of like Facebook posting in that local market, in the investor groups or whatever. And she'll still get paid on the deal. I just was helping her out. But anyway, but this buyer is doing the same thing. It just seems like every buyer there is flaky. And I'm sure they have solid buyers. I'm sure it's a good market because I do know people doing big deals there. And so there's got to be good buyers. But for whatever reason, we have had terrible luck. But so I called this buyer today because we were supposed to close today on this deal. And all along I was kind of fishy. It sounded fishy. Just every conversation I've had with the guy just seems like he's flaky. But anyways, I called him this morning, and I pretty much called him out. And I don't even know. Maybe we'll still do the deal with the guy. I'm not sure. Maybe we need to find another buyer. But we're kind of running out of time at this point. So I don't know. Maybe I'll find a private money lender to close on it myself if I have to. But I'll let you listen to this. It's pretty insightful, I guess. Let's let you hear it.
Hello.
Hey, this is Graylan. How you doing?
Yeah, Graylan, how you doing?
I'm good. Are y'all ready to close today?
No, well, basically, I told you I had a problem with my partner, and he went in the hospital. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's like a heat stroke or whatever. They say corona, heat stroke, something. I ain't been able to talk.
This dude is full of excuses. He's been like that for the last few weeks. Listen on.
So there's just a lot of little information out there. But we went by the property. The lady's still there. So I don't know, we're concerned about, if she's going to be able to deliver what they call it vacant, or do we have to do something to get them out of there? And the last part was the $3,000, or if you wanted to pay the closing costs.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Another guy, and he said he'll do it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So this guy's talking about this $3,000. He texted me a few days ago, all of a sudden, just talking about, hey, are you going to help us with this $3,000? Like, he didn't explain anything. That was just his text. Hey, you going to help us with this $3,000? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I replied to him, like, what $3,000 are you talking about? And he said something about extra additional closing costs or something. And then I asked him several other times in different ways, and I called him, and the guy ghosted me again. Like, didn't say another thing about it at all until this conversation this morning. And that was a few days ago.
The closing is a fee that's over what we discussed. So it's like maybe I don't know, it's like $3,000 to $5,000.
We never discussed anything. It was all along, buyer pays all closing. We didn't discuss the amount.
Right, so we didn't discuss.
Sounds like you're not a real buyer. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're not even a real buyer. You've been stringing us along for a month now.
What do you mean?
You're not a real buyer. You never even dropped your earnest money off.
Yeah, I told you we didn't drop the earnest money because you keep talking in French. So I don't
because
understand.
It's always excuses, man. You're always giving excuses.
What does that got to do with what you're talking about?
Like, we're supposed to already close, and you always give excuses of why you can't close.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So maybe you had a rough weekend. Do apologize.
No, I didn't have a rough weekend. I'm tired of dealing with flaky buyers. Like, you're a flaky buyer is what it sounds like to me.
Well,
you closed already.
Hey, Graylan.
That's the downfall of CallRail with the delays. It's like you definitely talk over each other a lot if you're not careful. But This dude, man, I was fed up with him, and that was literally this morning. But yeah, this guy is just like always has excuses of why this or that.
I really
Then
don't
you're talking about $3,000, and you never even explained what $3,000 is. We never talked about how much the closing cost was. That's irrelevant. Buyer pays all closing. Period. I don't care if that's $1 or if that's $10,000. Buyer pays all closing. How clear can that be? That's clear.
You just said we didn't discuss it. Now you're saying it's clear.
We didn't, because you're talking about, you texted me this, what about this $3,000? Like, we didn't even talk about $3,000. I don't even know what that is or what that means. Now you're just trying to bring it up. Like, it's always another excuse. We've been doing this for a month.
I called the title company, and the title company said there was additional fees there. It's not going to...
See, we sold this house to this guy for $150,000. And now he's talking about, oh, well, there's other fees. Well, of course there's fees. There's closing costs on any transaction, whether you're a cash buyer transaction or you're buying on the retail market. Everybody and their dog knows, and it's common sense, that there are closing costs and other fees involved. You're not going to just, oh, it's $150,000, yeah, and that's it. That's where this guy's completely a newbie. You can tell now.
Would be $150. It's going to be $3,000 something extra. And I said,
obviously, about 150 plus closing costs. Anybody in the world would know that. 150 plus closing costs.
And when I said splitting the transfer and the closing costs 50-50, it seemed like you said yes, because that's what they do here, and you said yes. Okay, that's
of course I didn't say yes, and the contract that you signed doesn't say yes. Contract that you signed says buyer pays all closing costs. So there's definitely no communication. Either you didn't read it, or something.
That's what I was telling you. It's your contract. On my contract, it would say you would pay 50-50, and that's what I told you.
Okay. Well, we didn't use your contract because it's my deal, so we used my contract that you signed, stating that you would pay all
closing costs. Stuff on your contract. Got you. I understand that. So there's two things I was just telling you we have an incident on, and if you want to address it, that's great. If not, I told you I wasn't putting a lot of money down, and I'm glad I didn't, because there's a misunderstanding based on trying to close out with your deal.
There's no misunderstanding. It's you just trying to prolong the thing, like stringing us along for no reason. That's the only thing that happened in here. Like, we've been waiting with folks for over a month.
About going in, I said, go ahead and put your other buyers in place, and you can sell it if we have a problem.
Which is a red flag to me, meaning that you're not really buying it. You're trying to find somebody else to buy it, is what that means to me. Yeah, go ahead and get your back up, because I'm not really buying it. Therefore, I'm never going to put earnest money down. That's what you're doing.
Hey, Graylan, I'm trying to purchase my first property here, there, whatever you're talking about. I keep telling you I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm buying the property for me.
Did you hear that? He said he's going to buy. This is his first property that he's trying to buy, and now he told me he's buying it for himself to move in. Our initial conversations 3 or 4 weeks ago now, he acted like he's done hundreds of deals, because I told him, he was trying to tell me all these things, like how things work. And I told him, I'm like, I flip 3 to 5 houses myself every single month. And I do, 10, 12, 15 wholesale deals every month as well. And he's trying to tell me how all these things work. So I was like, hold up, I know exactly how all this works, because I do this every day, all day. And now he's telling me, the truth, 3 or 4 weeks later, that this is his first deal, basically, that he's buying on his own.
I need the lady out of there so I can move in, like I told you.
No, she just watching me
move in. I gotta move in. Hello?
The house is vacant. She's just there watching the house.
I told you, I gotta make sure I move in. So we went by there. The lady is still there. She said she's not leaving. She don't know when she's gonna leave, and she said she's paying rent or something.
She's not leaving until we close. There's no reason for her to leave until we close.
Okay. You're saying too many different things, so that's what I was telling you. Listen to where I'm at. I need a place to stay, I told you. So I'm going to be moving in. I got it in my name, and I need it to be vacant. So my guys are advising me to make sure it's vacant. It's not vacant. Check on the vacant, because that's when they say, hey, they're going to give you stuff with a person that you got to deal with. I said, I don't want to deal with it. The guy said the person's going to be gone in a couple of weeks. So we're supposed to be gone. I don't know why they're not gone. Did the walkthrough. Walkthrough is not there. title company didn't give me the fees until last minute. He's like, hey, we've been working on the thing, give us a moment. I said, no problem. He gave me the fees, gave me the HUD sheet, additional fees. We agreed at 150. That's what I thought I agreed to. The extra additional money, I don't know about. So I had to go get some money from somebody else because I didn't have it. I told you what I had. So the games that you're playing, this is real serious right here. Okay,
Brother, I'm not playing games.
When I go in, I need to be able to move in immediately.
You never told me you were moving in. You never told me this is your very first property, or I would have explained things a little deeper. I assumed you are a cash buyer that have bought properties before. Cash buyers always pay closing costs. Any buyer in the world that buys a house always has closing costs for that matter. So when you say 150, it's always plus closing costs. If I'd have known you were brand new and never bought a house before, I would have told you. I would have explained all these things. But you acted like you've bought hundreds of houses and this and that. So I assumed you knew how it worked.
I do know how it works. Okay.
But also,
I mean, I don't know everything work, but I know this person is not out the house. I don't even know who the person is.
So the house is guaranteed to be delivered vacant when we close. She can stay there up until the time that we close, and then it's guaranteed that she'll be out. We'll sign that on paper, whatever it is, but she will be out. She's just waiting for us to close. That's it.
Okay. So the stuff is gonna be gone and moved out of it.
100%. Like if we know a closing date, like okay, we're closing today at 5 o'clock. She'll be out by 4 o'clock to make sure that she's out before we close. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. So you're sure about that?
That's what I'm telling you. That's a fact. She will. It's 100% guaranteed vacant at closing. When you get the keys at closing, it'll be empty. Everything in that house and that entire house will be yours at that point, and nobody would be in it.
Okay. Now, what about the closing fees?
So how would you assume that there was no closing costs? That kind of boggles my mind. Like anybody that would assume that there's no closing costs. Every transaction has closing costs. So you don't have any money for closing costs? Is what you're telling me?
Yeah, I just remember. I told you my partner backed out of it. So my numbers changed up.
So your partner backed out, so now you're doing it on your own?
But yeah, he's going to help me out. But he's in the hospital right now.
Well, what's it going to take for you to close today? Can you close today?
You said close today? No, probably in a day or two, I guess. I don't know about that part of about closing, but it depends on if we put the closing fees out of it.
I mean, I'm willing to cover those for you if we can get this done. I just don't want to get strung along, for another week or two. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you can close tomorrow, we can schedule a walkthrough so you can make sure that the house is vacant. Let's just say we close at 3 o'clock tomorrow, for example. We can schedule a walkthrough at 1 before you close to make sure that it's vacant. If there's stuff in there, obviously, every house isn't going to be cleaned out. So whatever's in there would be your property at that point of closing. But the house is not going to be lived in. It will be vacant.
Okay, but once I sign, I can't retract because the guy said that's going to be me to deal with. And they normally leave people holding the bag. He's like, I'm just going to tell you, they normally leave
we don't do that.
trying to.
We can sign an addendum stating that, the house is guaranteed to be vacant at closing. If it's not, we'll pay for the eviction costs because it will be. You know what I mean? So you won't be stuck with it.
Okay.
But it's going to be vacant. She's already out. She doesn't even live there. She's just watching the house until it closes for the owner.
Okay, great. All right, I just want to make sure. Let me see what I can do with the money then.
Well, can you call me back? Because every time we text, you reply one time and then you won't reply to the next 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm on the line right now. I'm super busy. I'm trying to move, a lot of things, 1,000 things going on. Man in the hospital, we got stuff we want me to take care of. There's a bunch. So I do apologize. I told you, if you had somebody lined up, make sure you go. I don't want to hold you out, but I do need the place. So that's where I was at. So ain't nothing changed, ain't nothing switched. It's all I keep telling you the same thing. The only thing that switched was when we went by, I grabbed somebody else to help me out because of the fees. And it was like, man, you gonna get stuck. I was like, what do you mean? This person's not gonna leave. They ain't even looking like they're ready to go. They kind of packed up. I was like, okay. I said, but he told me they were gonna leave once it's done. So that might be the owner there. Like, so that's the only issue I had. Make sure I'm not stuck with an eviction and trying to remove somebody and they're not leaving.
Yeah, you're not gonna be stuck. She's already out. She actually finished moving out yesterday, but she's just watching it right now. But it's guaranteed empty at closing for sure. So call me back today because we need to call a title company because they're wondering what's going on too.
Okay. Give me to 3 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock now. I'm gonna call them right now.
Okay. Call me back. Thanks.
All right, cool. Okay.
So, obviously, they're in a totally different time zone because it was only 11 o'clock whenever he said it was 1. But anyways, yeah, so I don't know, man. What do y'all think? Do you think this guy's going to actually close? Is he a real buyer or is he another flake? We've literally had, I think, 4 contracts on this property, and it's all flaky buyers. So I'm not sure what the deal is. But, yeah, if this guy doesn't close by tomorrow or maybe the next day, worst case scenario, then we're out on this guy. We're just going to go ahead and JV the deal probably because we do know, I mean, I've got a couple of big players that I know there in that city that can just sell it fast, because that's where we're at this point, Don't have time to keep wasting on it because we've had the deal for a little while now. So anyways, let me know what y'all think. How would you have handled that differently? Obviously, I was pretty blunt and upfront with the guy, just tired of his mess, tired of him doing this to us. So sometimes you just gotta stand your ground with these buyers and let them know who's boss. That's really what it amounts to, because like I've said in other videos, we have the gold, the buyers want it. So there's no reason to relinquish, giving up everything that we've worked for to get this far. And we've got a huge spread on the deal, so paying the closing costs is not a huge deal. Didn't want to, but if that's what it takes to get this guy to the closing table, then that's what we'll do, as opposed to starting over with someone else and potentially JVing it and only getting half of the fee. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But let me know what y'all think. I appreciate you sticking around this long. If you have watched this long, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it a lot. Like the video as well, so it'll help suggest this to other viewers. So anyways, thanks a lot again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.